Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete 12-0 guide for the brand new challenge, which is coming out into the game literally tomorrow. So for this challenge, you have 3 different game modes, 6 different maps, a lot of cool prizes to be won as well. You also win a profile icon if you win this challenge, and also I think the prizes in between are actually pretty decent. Overall, you get 1,300 coins, 1,100 Brawl tokens, 2 big boxes and 2 small boxes. So I don't know about you guys, I really like the coins for these challenges. So before we jump into the guide, make sure you're using the create code, that'd be greatly appreciated. And also check out this amazing special offer, 49 gems. It's actually got to be one of the best offers I think in the entirety of Brawl Stars, other than the one that glitched that gave you like 1 million boxes for a very small amount of coins, gems. Got to pick this one up, so I'm going to be doing a video on this on my second channel as well, so make sure to check that one out. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Alright guys, so jumping into set number 1, we have Shooting Star Bounty. So Shooting Star, really simple map, specifically when it's set number 1. I feel like you just get the absolute biggest noobs on this map, and I feel like you can just overwhelm opponents so easily on challenges on this map in particular. So as per usual, you have the same kind of brawlers within Bounty Shooting Star. So the one brawler I absolutely recommend that you go in every single competition has to be Piper. So Piper is a brawler which you can play basically against everyone on this map, and just such a good sharpshooter, especially with her homemade recipe, being able just to tap people so easily. You've also got her super that can break open walls and good defensively. Just overall, Piper is just incredibly broken on this map. So next up, you've got a ton of different options. You can go with the generic just tick nanny. The only big thing about that is if you're facing off against tanks, then it might be pretty hard. You might get overwhelmed a little bit, and you're probably going to face more tankier or weird compositions when you're facing set number 1. So I don't recommend actually going both of those sharpshooters, so one or the other, nanny or Piper, not both for me. So I got one with tick in the middle. Normally don't face off against like a Brock or normally like a wall break option that would just break up in the mid straight away. So tick is always a good shout, just to be really annoying in the middle and just spam shots either lane. Then you've got a load of other options as well. You've got the likes of Max, who's just going to be really good. If you're a good Max player, you can easily just wiggle around and beat those longer range brawlers. You also have B, who's just incredible in this meta, although if you do face off against more high skilled players, they can encounter it with the likes of Byron, Bell and Piper. You also have the likes of Bell, who's pretty much good against everyone, and to be honest, there's just a ton of other options. Like you can go Gina as well, who's just good into everything. So that's going to be Shooting Star. I mean, it's pretty simple, you just got to win your lane matchup. Let's hop into the next one. Okay, so next up, jumping into set number 2, we have Snake Out Knockout. So for this one, you will gain 500 Brawl Pass tokens if you win this set overall. So these are the best brawlers and compositions to use, so you're gonna have to excuse my voice again, it is just completely gone, but I'm trying my best to get that daily content out. So for the best composition, I think this map is incredibly weird, and I don't think it's been in the game for a little while, but I'm sure that Poco double tank has to be a composition that you're gonna overwhelm the opponent easily with. So me, Poco 100% is a brawler that you've got to use, and then it's up to you whether you go like an alternative, like maybe like a Griff, Tara, Ems, I don't know, at least like a tank counter, Otis as well. You can combine that with Poco easily, because Poco's just good against everything, and then go a tank yourself. So whether that be like a Sam, a Rosa, a Buzz, something like that, that's going to be good against defensively as well. Sam's just really broken with his super, just the ability to chain healing so easily, and he's just broken on knockout. That's the main reason why. Rosa's going to be insane on here, because you've got her slow gadget, but just overall being able to push opponents so easily with that super and chain, I think she can be incredibly broken on this map. You've got the likes of Gale as well, that's an amazing tank counter. Just overall, it's going to be a bit of a messy one, but it should be fairly simple. As long as you're grouping up and staying as a team, you should be able to pick off opponents pretty easily. So that's going to be the second set right there. Let's hop into the next one. Alright guys, so now moving on to set number 3, we have Camping Grounds. So this map is actually out in the rotation right now, so if you want to try it out, see what best compositions, then go ahead. But for me, these are going to be the best choices. So I've not really played too much of it, but just in general, these are normally good knockout, wipeout brawlers. So me, I actually went with Brock, because I just feel like Brock is one of those brawlers which can open up the map the way you want it to, and when it's like Bounty or a really passive game mode, you can get a lot of value out of the Brock, and if you're a good Brock, you're going to be tapping like crazy. So that's why I actually put Brock in there. You also have the likes of Ruffs, who just on this map in general, like brawlers like Rico and Ruffs can get a lot of value. But Ruffs is especially strong because if you get the lead, you can easily defend it because of your super, right? You're going to be able to give the boost to you and your teammates just so easily. And then I also went with a tick, because tick, there's a lot of walls and you can also just push back the enemies pretty easily. So I'd always recommend that type of brawler that's a little bit spammy and a little bit annoying, whether it be like a tick, a sprout, or a squeak. Of course, you don't want to go three of the same brawlers because you might get countered a little bit easily, but just at least one of those brawlers that can apply pressure with a lot of spam, that can be pretty good. You also have the likes of Bonnie, who Bonnie's just going to be insane in general, again in like game modes like bounty, knockout, wipeout. So Bonnie can always be that brawler, especially when you're looking for that one solo kill. Just gonna be able to get that pretty easily. So for me, for this map, again, is all about whenever I play wipeout, I just feel like once you get that lead, which is the same with bounty, I feel like obviously the opponents have to push towards you, so it's just really easy to extend your leads. So making sure you're pinching really carefully like at the beginning, make sure you and your teammates are really trying to find those first few kills, and then kind of go from there. Just wait for the opponents to make a mistake and of course capitalize on it. So that is going to be set number 3. Let's hop into set number 4. Alright guys, jumping into set number 4, we have Snake Prairie. So an old school map which a lot of people should know how to play already, but these are the best compositions in case you don't know how to play it already. So for the best composition then, we have Bo, Rosa and a Tara. So that is probably the better composition, just because there's a lot of capabilities with the supers, right? You have the bow totem and it's pretty easy to break open the map. Rosa is, I would say, probably the best brawler on this map, honestly. I just feel like it's so easy to get your super with her, chain it, and she's also a good counter to Tara. You might not realize that, but I think a good Rosa can just absolutely run through Tara on this map in particular. So I would actually say the Rosa is more of the power pick, but Tara is always strong in this map. People really know how to play her. So if Tara is your comfort pick, then just go for her. Good likes the Piper might be a little bit more dangerous, just because people probably got a lot of Tara and Rosa, but if you're a good Piper, you can easily set up a really strong fort, especially at the beginning, right? If you get that early lead and use Bowmans to break open one lane and then a Piper super to open the other, then it's going to be really hard for the enemies to push, and that's always a solid strat when it comes to Snake Prairie. You also got an interesting choice with the Buzz gadget. So I've actually not tried this out myself because it's not in rotation. I don't know whether the Buzz gadget was actually out when the Snake Prairie map was in rotation last, but I feel like that gadget could be insanely strong on this map in particular. So maybe try it out, have a little bit of fun, and I think it could be particularly strong because just the vision aspects, right? Of course, you got to use vision on every single brawler as well on this map, because you'll get some extreme value. But like the Crow can be pretty strong here. Brock as well, breaking open the map as quickly as possible. Gina's scouting capabilities, same with Janet's gadget as well. But I think for sure you have to have Bo and Rose in your composition, and then you can kind of go with there, whether you go with like a Tara, a Buzz, Piper, a Brock, something like that. So that's going to be Snake Prairie. Let's hop into the next map. Alright guys, jumping into set number 5, we have the most cheesy map I think in the existence of Brawl Stars. We have CRIMEWATER. So CRIMEWATER, as you guys probably know, if you played any type of ladder above, I would say 700 matchmaking, you're going to have the cheesiest compositions in the world. So the first one, I would say, actually counters some more meta compositions. So the best composition for me has to be Bow, Ruffs and Mortis. The main reason why, because you got the Ruff star power that gives you extra HP. For this map, you're just going to camp basically the entire map until either the enemy makes a mistake or the enemies kind of clump up and get a lot of value with the Mortis. But you got Rough Sandbags as well to tank all the nanny heads. You also have Bo, who's just got enough HP to tank a nanny head at every single possible way. Just because he, of course, like nanny head only does a certain amount of damage, so Bo can just tank it no matter what. Same goes with Mortis as well. That's why he's so particularly strong at countering a nanny. I remember back in competitive, probably like 1 or even 2 years ago, Mortis was always a good counter to nanny compositions, because you could easily maneuver around a map, follow the nanny head and just tank it so easily. That's why he's so incredibly strong at countering. All brawlers as well would recommend going shield, just to get that extra tankiness against the nanny. Plus it's knockout anyway, you're going to get a lot of value out of a shield gear. So that's going to be the main way to play this composition. You'll of course sit in the back, build up all your supers to begin with, especially Ruffs and Mortis, and then just go from there. Just try and camp it out as much as possible, trying to farm as much HP as possible, and then when it gets down to that last fight, they just won't have enough damage to take you guys out. You're going to be so beefy, all of you with power-ups, it's going to be really hard for them to do anything. So, and especially if you have again like a good Mortis, so you're able to connect a few brawlers in a row with that super, you're going to be able to stay alive for you to then close down the gap, engage with them and take them down pretty easily. So Next up is the composition, which a lot of people will go the Nanny, Piper and Bo. Of course, it's a long range map, right? You kind of camping it across the waters, so those brawlers are going to be pretty strong just because you got a lot of range. Nanny's going to be pretty strong because you can get a free super at the beginning, but overall I feel like you should try and counter the meta, right? So that's where you're going to have brawlers that are either really high HP or have like a gadget to tank those Nanny heads. You could even go something like a TWIG as well, because you can tank Nanny heads with that gadget. So that's going to be the best compositions and strategies for this map. Let's hop into the last one. Alright guys, jumping into the 6th and final set, we have a Wicked TWIG Wipeout. So if you guys have not guessed it already, literally I think 5 out of 6 of these maps aren't in the rotation right now, so I had to actually make all of these up myself, so it took a bit longer than expected for these. But I think I've not even played this map on Wipeout before. Like I can't remember it in the rotation. Maybe it's a new one, but yeah, I'm unsure if I've actually played this one. But just from testing it out a little bit, these are going to be the best brawlers to use. So I played a Grom, and it is, as you'll see in the gameplay, I absolutely popped off with him. I think he's just going to be really strong on this map because there's a lot of choke points which are just really easy to hit shots with Grom. And I think the more defensive brawlers are actually pretty decent in Wipeout. I kind of compare it a lot to like the knockout meta in a way, just because it's going to be really passive. You're going to wait for enemies to make mistakes, and you're just going to build up that lead even more once you get that lead right. So I think a brawler like Grom, Sprout or TWIG are definitely needed just to get a lot of pressure. I feel like wall break options could be pretty decent, so the likes of Ruffs again and Brock always going to be pretty strong. Could go with a Griffith as well if needed, but might get countered a little bit if there's a lot of range on this map. That's why the likes of Piper as well can be pretty easy to play, because one super could probably break open 2 of those squares up, if you get what I mean. And literally, I'd say even 2 or 3 Piper supers, and the whole middle is just going to be completely open. So it's going to really play into her hands. Fang can be pretty strong, I believe, because I reckon he'll definitely counter a lot of these meta brawlers on this map. You know, there aren't going to be the likes of Gale on this map, or the likes of, I don't know, Colette, for example. So Fang can definitely have some good pop-off potential. I feel like there's going to be quite a few throws for him to counter. Likes of Penny going to be pretty strong and balanced overall everywhere. Same with Jean as well. You can never go wrong with going like a Jean or a Penny in your composition, because you know they're going to be pretty strong against everything. So for me, again, knockout, always the strategy is to try and build up that early lead as quickly as possible, and then manipulate the map depending on the matchup, whether you want to break open the walls, whether you want to just sit behind walls and be cheesy. So that's going to be the 6th and final set. Alright guys, going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of my guide in the comment section below. And I was actually going to upload on my second channel today, but yeah, I think you could probably tell my voice is completely gone. But I will probably be uploading a video on Leon tomorrow on the second channel. Probably just playing some Power League. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.